Hear ye, hear ye. The following scene is a reenactment of Perry versus Schwarzenegger, the Proposition 8 trial heard in the U.S. District Court. Plaintiff, Kristen Perry, a gay Californian who was directly affected by the passage of Proposition 8, is under direct examination by the plaintiff's lawyer, Theodore Olson. The plaintiffs in this case are two loving same-sex couples who simply want to marry, just as any heterosexual couple in America has a right to do. Court is now in session.
State your name.
Kristen Matthews Perry.
Spell your first name and your last name.
Kristenperry.
Thank you.
Ms. Perry, are you a plaintiff in this case?
Yes, I am.
Would you tell us briefly about your background, where you're born, just a brief summary, your age, your educational background, just a brief summary, please.
I was born in Illinois, but my parents moved here with me when I was 2 years old. So I've lived in California since then, and I'm 45 years old now. I've grown up. I grew up in Bakersfield, California. I attended grammar school, middle school, high school there, and then I moved away to go to college at UC Santa Cruz. And from there I went to San Francisco State to get my master's degree in social work, and I've worked in the Bay Area ever since.
Describe without. You don't have to identify the name of your employer, but you work for a government agency. I would like for you to describe the work that you do, your profession.
My entire career I have worked in the field of child protection, child development, family support. I started out as a child abuse investigator in a Bay Area county, and from there I moved into prevention services for families that were at risk. I became a supervisor and a program manager, and then later on became the executive director of a county agency that provided services and support to families with children 0 to 5. And at this time, I am the executive director of a statewide agency that provides services and support to families with children 0 to 5.
So how long have you professionally been engaged in the occupation of working with children?
For almost 25 years.
On behalf of government agencies of the state of California, did I hear that correctly?
I have spent my entire career working for the government.
What is your relationship with plaintiff Sandra Steer?
Sandy is the woman I love, and we live together in Berkeley.
And what is the composition of your family? Is it just the two of you?
No, Sandy and I live together in Berkeley with our children. We have a blended family. We both brought 2 sons into our relationship, and Sandy's children are college age, and my children are high school age.
When did you meet Ms. Steer?
Sandy and I met, I think, 1996 while we were both working at the same place.
And describe how that relationship, again in general terms, how did that relationship grow and what did it grow into?
Well, I remember the first time I met Sandy thinking she was maybe the sparkliest person I ever met, and I wanted to be her friend, and we were friends for a few years, and our friendship became more and more. It became deeper and deeper over time, and then after a few years, I began to feel that I might be falling in love with her.
And did it work out that way?
And it did work out that way. I did fall in love with her. I did.
And how did she feel about you?
She told me she loved me too.
We will be asking her to verify that.
Okay.
How would you describe your sexual orientation?
I am a lesbian.
And tell me what that means in your own words. What does it mean to be a lesbian?
Well, for me, what it means is I've always felt strong attraction and interest in women and formed really close relationships with women, and I have only ever fallen in love with women. And the happiest I feel is in my relationship with Sandy, and because I'm in love with her.
Do you feel that something could change, that you could have? Could you have been in the past interested in the same kind of bonding with men, or do you feel that that would be, I know it's something compound, or do you feel that that could turn into, that could develop in that way into the future?
Let's see. Which question do you want her to answer?
Do you feel that in the past you could have developed the same kind of bond with a man?
I was unable to do that. As I said, growing up in Bakersfield, California, and it was in the 70s and 80s, all of my friends, as we were getting older and you were beginning to date, became more and more interested in boys. And I recognized that that was something that would have been the best thing for me to do if I could. And I did date a few boys because it did easier, you know. Then I would have a date to go to the prom to, or I could go to a party to, but as I got a little bit older, it became clear to me that I didn't feel the same way my friends did about boys, and that there was something different about me.
Do you feel that you were born with those feelings, with that kind of sexual orientation?
Yes, I do.
Do you feel it could change in the future? Do you have a sense that it might somehow change?
I'm 45 years old now. I don't think so.
Why are you a plaintiff in this case?
Because I want to marry Sandy. I want to have a stable and secure relationship with her that then we can include our children in. And I want the discrimination they're feeling with Proposition 8 to end, and for a more positive, joyful part of our lives to begin.
What does the institution of marriage mean to you? Why do you want that?
Well, I have never really let myself want it until now. Growing up as a lesbian, you don't let yourself want it because everyone tells you you are never going to have it. So in some ways, it's hard for me to grasp what it would even mean. But I do see other people who are married, and I think what it looks like is that you are honored and respected by your family. Your children know what your relationship is. And when you leave your home and you go to work or you go out in the world, people know what your relationship means. And so then everyone can, in a sense, join in supporting your relationship, which at this point I can only observe it as an outsider. I don't have any firsthand experience with what that must be like.